Black people are going to save America from Joe Biden.
You think so? Okay.
We got tricked. He's weakened at Bernie's, bro. You literally re-upped on the most racist practice in America, gun control, as the black people started buying more guns than ever. You said, we're going to send you to jail for 10 years. Fortunately, the Supreme Court was like, what? You are bugging. You speak to black people as if you literally own them. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. What type of fucking... It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the level of entitlement and audacity. Mind you, you're the same guy that crafted the criminal legislation, to send many of these black men to jail in the first place. Black people are going to have to save America from Joe Biden.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a...
Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, back at it again. Today I'm checking out a video from the Young Turks. Before we get into the video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. I appreciate all the love and support thus far. AskWiseToday@gmail.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And without further ado, let's go.
Another day, another poll showing Democrats losing ground with demographics that they typically had widespread support among. Now, a new poll by Gallup shows that Democrats are particularly losing support among Black and Hispanic adults. So let's get into the details. The Democratic Party's wide lead over Republicans in Black Americans' party preferences has shrunk by nearly 20 points over the past 3 years, in just 3 years. Although Democrats continue to hold a formidable advantage over Republicans among non-Hispanic Black adults in the United States, their current 47-point lead is the smallest Gallup has recorded in its polling, dating back to 1999. Most of the decline has been recent, with the net Democratic ID for this group falling 19 points from a 66-point advantage in 2020. At that time, 77% of Black adults favored the Democrats and 11% the Republicans. So the 2023 findings represent an 11-point decrease in Democratic affiliation since 2020 and an 8-point increase in Republican affiliation. So obviously Democrats still have a significant lead with Black voters compared to Republicans, but still we're seeing this trend continue where the voting demographic that Democrats can typically rely on, they're dwindling now, and some of them are unaffiliated. They're not really registering as Republicans. Others are registering as Republicans. Now, Democrats' lead among Hispanic adults and adults ages 18 to 29 have slid nearly as much as the Black vote, resulting in Democrats holding only a modest edge in both of those groups. So as Gallup reports, Democrats' 12-point advantage among Hispanic adults in 2023 represents a new low in trends dating back to 2011, when Gallup recorded Democrats having a 26-point advantage. In 2021, Democrats actually had a 31-point advantage among Hispanic voters. So this has been an ongoing trend, as I mentioned, Cenk. This is something that we've been, raising some alarm over. I have a lot of theories as to why this is taking place, but I'm curious what you think.
The Democrats have offered absolutely nothing. Joe Biden said into this office because the Black community had his back. And he said, because of that, I'm going to have yours. That's what he said out of his mouth. But what we know is President Joe Biden is a pathological liar. And the Democrats, Black folks have not heard from Democrats for 3 years. Now we're in election season and here they come. Now we are in an election season and here they come. Here they come with the pandering. All the shields are out there with the piece of paper and the talking points. They just came out with this quote unquote hip hop task force. So disrespectful, like we're stupid. We're not falling for it anymore. They don't come with anything tangible. Then when you look at what's happened on the border, the invasion at the border, 10 million people, where did they decide to put those folks? They put them in Black and brown Americans communities. There was a sister yesterday in a video. She said that the schools that they wanted to have rehabbed and used, they told them there's no money in the budget for it. But now they've some kind of way magically found some money for these schools. Couple Ukrainian schools, couple Venezuelan situations. So black folks just aren't dealing with it anymore. They have slapped us in the face long enough.
What do you think is causing this?
Yeah, look, for what it's worth, I'm positive. They're not delivering for the average American. There, I solved it. It's so complicated. So mainstream media and the people in Washington view things through the lens of race and culture wars and demographics, etc. So they're like, okay, black people and Latinos are ours, white people are yours, women are ours, men are yours, etc. Right?
It's no longer about race. The divide is not based on what you look like. The divide now is being based on ideology and really and truly the have and have nots, the elites and the working class. That's where the divide is. And when you look at the Democratic Party is led by the academic class of people, your professors and those types. And they've gone so far progressive and so far woke that average people just cannot get with it. We just can't. Now, me personally, I've been off that Democratic plantation for a very long time. And I've been trying to talk to people that are still on it. And I feel like I'm daggone Harriet Tubman trying to get these folks, you know what I'm saying, off the daggone plantation. They won't listen. But now they're feeling the brunt of these policies. Now they're starting to see and they're starting to wake up. Some people got to get touched by the fire.
But the thing is, the American people are not cooperating with that. So, for example, the young voters were massively on the side of Democrats, not even close. That's why Biden won in 2020, and they've had a huge lead there, et cetera. Now they're beginning to lose them. Now, why are they losing them? Because Biden and the Democrats keep doing things that are very, very unpopular with young voters. The most recent one is the situation in Israel, where younger voters hate that we're spending more of our money, which we barely have, to send over to kill more innocent Palestinians. So if that fact bothers you, that's too bad for you. That is a fact. That is why they're leaving Democrats. And
there might be some of those in that academic realm, some of those that the collegiate young people, but a lot of young folks aren't going to vote for Biden this time around. It has nothing to do with what's going on in the Middle East. What it has to do with is the cost of living right now. The people that are going to vote for the second time this year, those people had an opportunity to live life under Trump's administration and life under Biden's administration. It's a no-brainer which one was better. A no-brainer. If the pandemic would not have happened, if that shutdown would not have happened, there's no telling how robust our economy would have been. Before that, jobs were plentiful. Matter of fact, there were more jobs than workers. I just did a story. Matter of fact, Anna Kasparian was discussing and saying that young working class people better learn Spanish because they're gonna have to compete with these migrants coming over here because McDonald's says that you gotta speak Spanish in order to work there. They need you to be bilingual. Flat out ridiculous.
so now I've got more on blacks and Latinos.
I have to add to that point because I think it's an important point, and there's a second half to it that I think is really, really important to focus on. The Democratic Party in general has increasingly abandoned the working class in America, which is why Republicans have actually increased their support among non-college educated working class Americans. And what Democrats have done in lieu of representing the best interest of working class Americans is they have instead pivoted to identitarianism, right? The culture wars, please support us because Republicans bad for minorities. We love minorities. We love black and brown people. We want to protect them. We believe in their dignity. Okay.
Yesterday I said, you will know them by their fruit. They talk the talk, but they definitely don't walk the walk. And you look at a lot of working class people, you look at a lot of folks out in middle America, down south, they're not with the foolery that the left has been pushing. The alphabet community foolery that they're pushing, how they want to shove it down your throat, down your children's throats at school, how all the content being pushed on Disney, they're trying to shove this agenda down the throats. How they want to allow kids to make adult decisions, but they don't want them to make adult decisions when it comes to tattoos and things of that nature, but they can make an adult permanent decision based on their sex or gender or whatever that is. These people are out there. They're gone. And most of us, we can't get with it. It doesn't make sense. Now, you have a lot of people out there that for the sake of being able to keep their job, for the sake of not starting arguments or quote unquote hurting someone's feelings, they won't say anything about it. They'll just go along and get along. But when it's time to go out there and get to these polls, and when it's time to go down there and vote, they're going to vote based on how they're feeling, what they're dealing with, and what they're going through.
It's really hard to buy that argument. That argument comes across as incredibly hollow as the United States continues to provide 2,000-pound bombs to the far-right government of Israel so they can then proceed to drop said bombs on Arab Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Okay? It's just, it rings hollow. It seems like nonsense, superficial campaign tactics that they don't actually believe and don't really do anything to show or prove that they care about.
Yeah, so I think that right, but
you know what? I talk to a lot of people at the gym, just when I'm out and about. I have conversations with people. That situation going on over there in the Middle East, it's not a thing that comes up in conversation with regular working Americans. You know what does come up though? How expensive things are. This inflation. How, yeah, I got a raise, but it doesn't feel like it. I'm still check to check. How expensive gas is. Yeah, jobs are there, but I got to work 2 jobs just to make it. I got a full-time and a part-time. Heck, I talked to a dude about 2 weeks ago. This dude's working 7 days a week. He has 2 jobs, 2 full-time jobs just to make it. It's crazy. So God bless those people over there. I hope that they come up with some form of peaceful resolution over there quickly. But most Americans are not concerned with what's going on over there. And that's not to say that we don't have sympathy for them, but we got our own issues happening over here. We literally have an invasion of people trying to take our spots. They're trying to come over here and replace us. How can we be concerned with what's going on in another country when we got our own country to fix and save?
Going along with that, in terms of things they don't believe, look, part of the blame goes towards Bernie Sanders. Wait, what? Why? Okay, let me explain. Because Bernie did a great job of convincing Joe Biden that he should run on progressive policies, because progressive policies are very, very popular on the economic end, okay? So paid family leave, child tax credit, a higher minimum wage, you name it, very popular, right? So Biden ran on him, but Biden didn't tell Bernie something that's very important. He never meant it.
Yeah, he had zero intent on doing any of those things. So he ran on a platform that he had zero intent on following through on, and people fell for it. We know what time it is. The last time Biden held a position like this, which was the 8 years that President Obama was in office, The unemployment rates were crazy. The unemployment rates for black people was plus 20%. What made y'all think something was going to be different with this guy in charge? We literally went from the lowest unemployment rate to people having to work 2 and 3 jobs. We literally went from more jobs than people, companies paying signing bonuses, all kinds of things to get people to come out and work. Heck, I knew some people at the time that had 2 really high paying jobs. Some folks had 3 because there wasn't enough people. Now you got a multitude of people working 2 and 3 jobs, making less money than they were 5 years ago. And then when you account for inflation, they're making even less than that.
So when he got into office, he delivered on almost none of those policies. So that is, you see over the last 3 years, every demographic, whether it's age or race, jumping off a cliff, right? In those in the numbers that Anna's reading you. And I think that what they saw was, hey, oh my God, look at this. This is amazing. We're gonna get all these things that we really, really like. Oh God, Joe Biden and the Democrats, we knew it. And then see, Trump is a bad guy and the Democrats are good guys. And the Democrats were like, just kidding. And they pulled the football again. No paid family leave. And they had child tax credit for a year and people loved it. It was one of the most popular programs in the country. And then Biden's like, no, in order to help Joe Manchin and the Republicans, I will now pull the child tax credit. You moron! Because now they had it for a year and they knew how good it was. And then when you take it away from them, it's much worse than if you never gave it to them. So he made all of these promises that he knew for sure he was never going to deliver on. And then all the people on TV turn around and they're like, no, it's okay that he didn't do voting rights and he didn't do any of the economic agenda. He did this bill and that bill that helps industries, that maybe helps Americans eventually. But anyway, we love him, so you guys should love him too. And you guys should be thrilled that he did 10% of his agenda.
Democrats are the biggest grifters out there. And they've been grifting their way into power for decades. Democrats are the party of offering the world and providing nothing. That's who they are. That's who they've always been. The black community has election cycle after election cycle voted for these people on the promises that they're going to do something, and they never do anything. The only thing they give you is tokens. And the last time I checked, a token won't pay a bill. It won't feed you, but they'll give you that, hey, we got a person of color or a woman of color in the White House. That's all you're going to get. We're giving you nothing else, nothing tangible. It's ridiculous, man. They are some of the biggest grifters on the planet.
Well, that's nice propaganda, but people see their actual lives.
Not only that, I mean, look, I think people are really, because again, due to filter bubbles and repeated propaganda, which takes place on both sides, if you're not paying close attention to what's happening in cities like Chicago or New York City when it comes to the migrant crisis and how minority residents of those areas are reacting to it, you're making a huge mistake because they're furious, okay?
Oh, beyond furious. Furious isn't the word. The one lady said they're ready to riot out in Chicago. I tell you what, this summer in Chicago is going to be a mess. This summer in Chicago has the potential to be a freaking nightmare. They don't even see it coming. They don't see it coming.
They are furious. So black and brown voters in Chicago, in New York, they see the crisis, it's at their doorstep. And they're like, I don't understand. This is based on federal policy. Why isn't Biden doing anything about it? So when they see their quality of life decline, because suddenly there's a massive influx of people into their city, which they do not have the resources to house, to feed, to keep safe. And when they see the scraps that they're given now being shared with a large, migrant population that's come into their city, they start getting angry, okay?
Did she say scraps? In Chicago, they were giving, or they have given, migrant $9,000 apiece. These people are pooling their money together and buying apartment buildings in Chicago. Scraps, they're literally setting these people up. You got people who lived in Chicago all their lives and don't have the money to go out and buy a daggone apartment building. These people just got here and they just bought one.
It's not because they're bad people, it's not because they're racist, it's not because they're anti-immigrant, but you tell me if 170,000 people in a few months show up to your front door and suddenly you're seeing encampments all over the place and it seems like chaos outside your front door, how are you gonna feel about it?
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And
I'm telling you, this summer in Chicago, it is going to be crazy. We already know that Chicago, once the summertime comes around, once we get to the Memorial Day weekend, you already know what time it is in that city. It's cold outside right now, so everybody's kind of hibernating in the house. Not to say that things aren't happening outside, because they are, but you wait until it gets hot out there. You wait. And they continue to see these new people come here and basically take their resources from them. You wait and see what's going to happen. I'm not advocating for it. I'm not. But I can't see that these people are going to stand up and just allow this type of stuff to happen.
Combine two of the things that we've been talking about here, because you see this is a perfect storm. The numbers are not moving a little, they're moving a lot and they're moving super quick. Normally numbers take decades to move like this. So there's also the issue of crime. And where did crime hit most? It actually hit Black and Latino communities the most. So because it was mainly in cities and mainly in working class areas. So as Blacks and Latinos heard, mainly, if we're being honest, mainly white,
Privileged.
older, richer Democrats telling them that they're imagining it and that they were helping Black people and Latino people by letting criminals go. That's double the anger. So you're
Absolutely. It was the dumbest thing ever. Defund the police. So you got rich white liberals who live in gated communities, gated homes, telling you, you don't need the police. The chaos is out of control. Oh, when you commit a crime, just let them go. Matter of fact, don't do anything to them. We just watched on a video up in New York, 8 dudes jump on the cops. They were out of jail in 3 hours. The restraint that it had to take for a cop to not pull his pistol on these people. I could hear the stories now if one of those police officers who were being jumped by these 8 illegal invaders, had he shot one of them, I could hear it. It's ridiculous, man.
You're telling me I'm making this stuff up when I got crime all around me? And then you're saying you're doing it to protect me because I'm Black? How is this protecting me? Because, and by the way, look at the assumption there. Let's be honest, that the underlying assumption that people that talk in that way have, which is one that is racist. So if you're Black, you should like us letting criminals off. Are you nuts? That is not a thing that Black people want in this country.
No, we don't.
Because for like privileged elite people in DC, they view people in certain categories. But that's nonsense. A Black person knows that they don't want other Black criminals being let off for no reason. They don't want to be harassed. No. They don't want to be beat up by cops. They don't want to be the victim of injustice. They don't want to be arrested for the same things that white people are not arrested for. But do they want criminals locked up? Of course, those criminals Absolutely. Are in their neighborhoods in Chicago and other places.
Most law-abiding Black folks aren't having issues with the cops. And if you live in one of these poor neighborhoods, the cops are the least of your concern in those neighborhoods. You're concerned with being robbed by someone that looks like you, carjacked by someone that looks like you, having your car stolen by someone that looks like you. The cops are the least of your concern. The people who are concerned with the cops are the criminals. Criminals have dealings with cops. It's amazing to me how criminals have dealings with the cops and they will march and they will riot and pander to Black people. But when you get carjacked in your neighborhood, no one's seen anything and no one has anything to say about it.
And so as they yell for help, when the Democrats say not only is help not coming, but we don't even think that it's a real problem and we're doing it to help you, It's infuriating. And so that's why the numbers are moving so much so quickly.
That's why Brother Malcolm said exactly what he said about white liberals. Nothing has changed from when Brother Malcolm said this in the 60s. Nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing has changed with these people. The only difference is there's more black people with the talking points. That's the only difference. And to be honest with you, that's no different than what they used to do back in the day during slavery time. Typically, they used us against us. Typically. And we have more than enough people willing to take the bag and disrespect their own people. It's ridiculous, man. I'm going to get out of here right now. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. Keep God first in your life. And I'm going to catch up with y'all next time. Y'all see my shirt, man. My grandma used to say this all the time. If you're going to pray, don't worry. So don't worry yourself about what's going on. Just pray about it. It's all going to work itself out. I'm going to catch up with y'all later. Peace.